Updated July 15, 2018, 20 hours 49 minutes and 50 seconds. The Tigers upset the Dragons 20-16 and the Warriors celebrate a 26-6 triumph over the Broncos, as the Roosters move into the top 4 with a 20-12 victory away to the Titans. Farah, Marshall star in Tigers' defeat of DragonsRobbie. Farah and Benji Marshall have turned back the clock to deliver the West's Tigers a 20-16 upset win in a cliffhanger against St George Illawarra. Playing their first game together in 1,772 days, Farah set up all three of his team's tries while Marshall pulled off a number of key plays in both attack and defense at Jubilee Oval. The win ensures the Tigers remain in 10th spot, 4 points adrift of 8th-placed Brisbane, with 7 games remaining in the season. The Tigers were leading by 6 when Farah sold Tim Lavai dummy and then Grubber kicked astutely for winger David Nofaluma in the 59th minute. The Dragons then looked buried when Gareth Widdop's line dropout sailed out on the full to gift the visitors an extra 2 points with 14 minutes remaining. But a Widdop try off a Ben Hunt kick spurred the home crowd to life, and a comeback loomed when Matt Duffy zoomed over from a Luciano Lailawa pass in the 75th minute. The visitors, however, held on to send the Dragons, who had all 5 of their State of Origin stars backing up, to back-to-back defeats for the first time this year. They have also dropped to a season-low 3rd spot on the ladder. The Tigers looked likely early, and cashed in on field position when Farah feigned a kick only to send Luke Brooks through for first points in his 100th match. The Dragons replied through the neat stepping of Hunt, however that was how the score remained. In a tightly contested first half where they lost Nene McDonald to a foot injury. Marshall, in his first game back from a calf injury, was also denied a highlight by a dubious forward pass ruling in the opening 40 minutes. Instead it was the 33-year-old Farah who produced all the magic plays, including a well-timed inside ball for Moses Mbye to put Corey Thompson over soon after the break. The win may have come at a cost, however, with co-captain Chris Lawrence failing to finish the match due to a hamstring injury. Warriors hammer hapless Broncos. For the first time in 5 years the Warriors have defeated Brisbane at Lang Park, keeping their top 4 hopes alive with a 26-6 victory on Sunday. A week after the Broncos looked to have locked up a finals spot, they are now precariously placed at 8th with a -26-point deficit after the Warriors snapped the hosts' 3-game winning run. The Warriors ended their own worrying 2-game losing slide with the 5-1 rout in front of 37,493 largely shell-shocked fans that looks set to move them to 7th. Brisbane coach Wayne Bennett seemed poised to save a career victory number 500 on Sunday after the Broncos won 5 of their last 6 matches and with the top 4 seemingly in their sights. And the Warriors looked vulnerable at a venue where they had not won since 2013 after a 36-4 last-round thumping from Penrith. Yet Brisbane had no answer for the powerful Warriors, with hulking prop Ignatius Parsi leading the way. Halfback Sean Johnson and hooker Isaac Luke ran amok as centre Solomon Kata crossed for a double in a nightmare afternoon for Brisbane winger Jermaine Isako. Remarkably, the Warriors now have the best away record in the competition, winning 7 from 9. Brisbane was behind the pace from the outset, losing New South Wales centre James Roberts, Achilles, and forward Tevita Pangai, hamstring, but nothing could quite prepare Brisbane for the Warriors' assault to come. Johnson had a hand in tries to Kata, 7th minute, and winger Gerard Beale, 26th, before Luke did it all himself with a solo dummy half effort in the 36th as the visitors grabbed a 16-0 halftime buffer. Kata bagged his second by the 50th before Pussy bulldozed his way over 5 minutes later to put the result beyond doubt. Brisbane was denied tries to Corey Oates, 5th, and captain Darius Boyd, 46th, before hooker Andrew McCullough finally got the hosts on the board in the final 5 minutes. Both McCullough and the Warriors' Chris Satai were binned in the 33rd minute. Satai raised his arm while he was being tackled, hitting McCullough in the throat and prompting punches from the hooker. In another concern for Bennett, back rower Jaden Sewer limped off in the 44th minute with a suspected knee injury. Rookie star for Roosters in victory over Titans. The Sydney Roosters have improved to 4th on the ladder thanks to a scrappy win on the Gold Coast that featured 4 first-time NRL try scorers and one of the most head-scratching decisions of the season. Despite missing 7 of their stars, the Roosters prevailed 20-12 against the Titans on Sunday night in a game that will be remembered for a controversial try to debutant halfback Sean O'Sullivan. The Roosters took a 14-6 lead when the 19-year-old was awarded a try despite the teenager thinking he had blown it with at least one knock-on. Crossing the line, the halfback had the ball stripped by Jared Wallace before he twice slapped the ball into the post as he fell. O'Sullivan's second touch rolled the ball down the post and onto the ground before he forlornly put his hand on it and indicated he had knocked on. But the try was surprisingly upheld on review, lighting a fire on social media and leaving the 10,074 spectators perplexed. Rubbing salt into the wounds, the Roosters were next to score after the break, Posa Pharmacy joining the list of debutant try scorers, from what appeared to be a forward pass. Luke Keary was put in the sin bin for tackling Ashley Taylor without the ball, and Jared Wallace subsequently scored to give the hosts a sniff with 19 minutes remaining. The Queensland State of Origin forward looked to have his second soon after, a try that would have reduced the margin to 2, only to have it knocked back due to an obstruction. That was their last roll of the dice as the officials were booed from the ground at full time. Earlier, fellow Roosters debutant Paul Momirovski opened the scoring when he cut back inside Brenko Lee, before Titan Moaki Fotuika joined the club with his first NRL try. The Roosters' State of Origin representatives James Tedesco, Dylan Napa, Boyd Cordner and Latrell Mitchell were all left out. Cooper Cronk stayed in Sydney awaiting the birth of his first child. Victor Radley served a suspension and Mitchell Orbison, hamstring, was also a late scratching. The Titans were missing Dale Copley, knee, and Keegan Hipgrave, concussion, from last week's squad, while Origin forward Jairo Courtney ensured the casualty ward was at capacity. AAP topics: NRL, Rugby League, Sport, New Zealand, Rabina 4226, Bondi Junction 2022, Campbelltown 2560, Leichhardt 2040, Wollongong 2500, Kogarah 2217, Brisbane 4000. First posted July 15, 2018, 13 hours 21 minutes and 38 seconds.